Hey, I just thought I'd go ahead and start testing my audio. Can everyone hear me okay? You probably can join with sound, or you can just throw a thumbs up in the chat. I may still have it set so only presenter can go, which is probably something I should have remembered and fixed before now. Thanks, Madison. Let's see. Someone who is not considered a host like Madison, Alicia, or Emery, can you let me know if you have the ability to unmute or like share your video or anything like that? I just am trying to figure out if I got those settings turned around or not. Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Alicia. Yeah, I know when we did this first one, we had like 100 plus attendees because HubSpot did a really big push for global hugs. So we had people join from all around the world. And on this platform, when you get over a certain number of attendees, they had set it to default that people who were not hosts or presenters wouldn't be able to share. But I do want to be able to open up for Q&A a little bit later. So I definitely wanted to make sure that setting was on. So glad that works. Oh, Emery, I know. This platform is a little bit of a struggle, and we recently had a meeting among the hug leaders, and it's definitely something HubSpot understands that this is not our perfect platform for this, but because HubSpot does have a lot of user groups and maybe a little bit of sway as kind of a power user of Bevy, get on their roadmap with some changes that will hopefully make this platform work a little bit better for all of us. But I feel your pain, Emery. All right. Hi, demo. All right. Well, we're expecting several more people, so I don't want to jump the gun too much here. Wait maybe for a few more people to roll in. Taking a look to see. I saw Angie LeBlanc on here earlier, but looks like maybe she jumped off. She's checked in. I need to set a like 10-minute calendar reminder for everybody for these. It's a little bit late in the afternoon. I'll go ahead and get my slide deck up so as people are joining, they know they're in the right place. Although now I can't see what's going on. All right. All right, we've got a couple more people rolling in here. Welcome to our Q2 Boise Hug event. We'll have a little bit of a overall update at the end, but I just can't bury the lead and not share with everybody that HubSpot has given us the go-ahead to return to live events, so long as we're, complying with any local ordinances around COVID. So it's definitely our plan here at Tribute Media to start live. However, we have had the opportunity to have a lot of people join our hug, either from other places in Idaho that aren't just a quick jaunt over to our Meridian office, as well as, from other places in the country and the world. So we do still want to offer a hybrid option, and we'll be working on what that might possibly look like. But great news that we will be able to return to in-person events, starting with our next hug meetup. So more details on that to come, but we're very excited. But yeah, so this is our Q2, barely squeaking in at the end here of Q2 for our HubSpot user group. And we are going to do a topic today that has been requested quite a bit from our general, hug community, and, Tribute Media clients have expressed interest in this. So we're going to talk about reporting and dashboards in HubSpot today. So thank you so much for joining us. I will be your presenter today, but that's not to say that we, don't, like last hug, we were able to get a HubSpot speaker. We do want to request those on a regular basis, but, sometimes they come with these topics, really advanced super user stuff. And I know a lot of people are joining this hug, are a little bit newer to the tools. So I really wanted to just kind of get started with some basic reporting and dashboard topics. So I hope you guys all enjoy this. We will have time at the end for questions, but please, as I'm going, if you think of questions or you want to just pin something for later, over on the Bevy platform, you'll see there's the panel, it has the chat. If you click on chat, there's also a Q&A tab. So if you want to just drop questions in the Q&A tab as I go, I will try to keep an eye on it. And if I can answer it live, I will. If not, I will definitely be coming back to that at the end. So yeah, just drop those in there. And yeah, please feel free to chat, share anything in the chat window. If you're seeing something that you particularly like or that you've used before, or something different that you've done in HubSpot, I'm certainly not the end all be all of HubSpot knowledge. I've got a lot of folks on my team here that are also very knowledgeable and are responsible for a lot of the stuff that I'm going to show you today. So before we get started with the presentation, I want to take a quick moment and go around and do a little bit of introduction for those folks who are here. So what I'm thinking, I'll bring up another slide here for what we'll do, but we're going to do our introductions. Then I'll go into my presentation. At the end, we'll have Q&A, and then just some housekeeping, future events and topics. So this is what I'm just going to throw up here on the screen so that we can go around and do introductions, and you guys have kind of a little bit I never know what to say. One of my favorite little icebreaker questions was, what's your favorite smell? And that was a really interesting way to get to know people, but we won't get too crazy. I just love to know who you are, where you work, what HubSpot tools you primarily use, how long you've been using the tools, and what's one thing you wish you understood better about HubSpot. So we don't have a huge group today. So, please take a moment. Let's hear from everybody. I'm just going to call through everybody I have on, just in my order. And then for my team, I guess, Madison, you're going to be first up. And I know you're up front with the rest of the team. I'll just have you guys do a quick introduction all at once, since you're all connected to the same audio, and then we'll go through the rest of everybody. So Madison, if you want to join and with the team and give a quick round of introductions. Oh, loving that video there. You guys look like you're in the witness protection program.
Well, hi, I'm Madison. As you'll figure out, all of us work here at Tribute Media. The tools I mostly use, actually, is all of them, and I've gotten a lot more in the development tools lately, which is really cool and interesting. Been here for 2.5 years, so I've been using HubSpot for that full 2.5 years. And one thing I do wish I understood better is those developer tools. So that's kind of my deep dive right now.
Awesome.
I'm Katie. You can't see me in the dark. I've been using HubSpot for 5 years. I've been at Tribute for 3.5. I'm an account manager and kind of client delight specialist here. I use all the tools on a daily basis, and I would like to better understand themes in the CMS tools a little bit better moving forward.
And, Katie kind of breezed over something here I just want to acknowledge. Starting July 1st, Katie's actually getting a new title. Actually, Madison is too. Let's take a moment to say both. So Katie is going to be actually stepping into the role of our Director of Client Services. So as she mentioned, she's the Client Delight Specialist. She is, going to be taking that to a whole nother level by overseeing basically all of our fulfillment for clients in a leadership position in our company. So we're all really excited for Katie to have her joining us there. And then Madison has really, as she mentioned, really been deep diving into developer tools. And so she's actually going to be taking on a different position as well as a user experience specialist. So just kind of some cool things happening here at Tribute Media in terms of, really playing into people's strengths and having people grow with the team. So just wanted to say congratulations to both of you. All right, let's keep going through our intros.
Hi, can you hear me okay? Okay, there we
Yeah.
go. Hi, I'm Taylor Munson. I'm the social media specialist here at Tribute. I've been using HubSpot since I started, so about a year now, and I've learned a lot about the tool over the past year and feel a lot more comfortable. I mainly use, obviously, the social media and then the email marketing and workflows tools in there. And I actually have been wanting to know more about reporting and dashboards in HubSpot, so I'm excited to learn more about that today.
Good answers.
Yeah.
Then you can't see me, but I'm Alicia, and here's my hand. And I've been working here for about 4 months now, so I'm relatively new to HubSpot. I am the SEO specialist, so I mostly use the SEO tools, but I'm also looking forward to the reporting because that is a mystery to me on this platform.
Awesome. Did we cover everybody who's sitting up there at the front?
Yes.
Okay. You want to grab that person who's walking by, see if they want to join us?
It look interesting.
All right. Now I've got one more team member here, but just to keep myself sane, I'm going to keep going in order of how you guys are logged in. So Matt Tanner, will you say hello? Maybe.
So I'm not sure if Matt's microphone is connected. He put that.
Oh, okay. That's okay. That's okay. We'll come back to him if we see him join with that or whatever. But Jeffrey Bacon.
I'm Jeffrey Bacon of the Idaho Workforce Development Council, which is a state agency under the governor. And we are using HubSpot to track employer enrollment in registered apprenticeship programs and to track services issued to apprentices.
Yes. Very cool stuff you're doing in there. Thanks, Jeffrey. And anything you want to understand better about HubSpot?
How to get our our ITS people to accept it. We're having a hard time getting using a lot of the features because they block everything, and it's a kind of an obstacle. But I like it a lot. I don't really have any questions. It does everything we need. Yeah.
Good. Wonderful. Well, yes, I am familiar with that challenge and doesn't surprise me in the least, being a part of a state agency that might be the case. So feel your pain. Oops, I'm sorry. I meant to just go down the list and I moved slides. Let's see. Next, I have Johanna. Or do you have your microphone connected, dear? Maybe not. They might have just been joining, and that is totally fine. Matt, Johanna, and Paul, who are on the call today, are with Natural Intelligence, and they are getting started with HubSpot. Very cool thing that they're doing over there. Sorry, I'm getting to some chat here just to see what's coming through. Oh, okay. That's okay, you guys. Anyways, they're up to some really cool stuff. I just am glad to have you guys on the call, getting started with HubSpot. I think this is just going to be helpful for you. And then hi, Paul, your face. Good to see you.
You too. We're all happy to be here. We're all here.
Okay.
I don't know what the microphone issue is, but if you can hear me, at least we're here.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And then next I have Cherie. So I know I asked you before if it's Sherry or Cherie, and I'm the worst, and I forgot already.
That's okay. It's Sherry.
Sherry, okay.
Thanks.
I'm here.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yes, there we go.
So I am the director of marketing at the Aird Club in Boise. We have the Marketing Hub professional subscription right now, and we started that subscription in April. So currently wrapping up that onboarding process, and it's going well.
Good, good. I mean, I know you are just also getting started, but anything that's really sticking out to you already that you just wish you would understood better, or priority for you in as you're diving into the tools?
Yeah, the just automation with the like lead nurture series and stuff like that.
Got it. Okay, cool. That was our alternative topic, was marketing automation. So I'm sure it will be coming up next. It was just one of those things where, we kind of had a couple topics that were popular. This was one that we just happened to be working on a lot here internally at Tribute Media. So we thought maybe we had a little more to share when we couldn't get a HubSpot speaker. So I'm sure we'll have marketing automation stuff coming up very soon. So stay tuned.
Reporting's great too. Thank you.
All right. And then we do have one other person on the call. Fabio, he just dropped his little introduction in the chat just because he is joining us from afar and English isn't his first language. So I will try to not talk too fast because that is definitely one of my my toxic traits. So hopefully you get a lot out of this, Fabio. Thank you for joining us. All right. I think I got everybody unless anyone. Oh, Emery was here, but I know Bevy is a struggle. So Emery, are you still here? Oh, Emery is here, still hates Bevy. That's fair. Well, Emery is also part of the Tribute Media team. She works remotely and she is our content specialist. So glad she's here as well. And yeah, sorry that the Bevy platform is a little less than, but it means we may have other people who are on, but I just can't see you because Bevy. Like I said, for those of you who missed it early in the call, HubSpot's working directly with Bevy as a kind of power user. They have a little bit of sway and they are trying to get on Bevy's roadmap for some improvements that will specifically meet the needs that we need for these user group communities. So thanks for bearing with us. All right, well, we're going to keep moving then. We're doing pretty good on time. I'm actually pretty impressed with myself. All right, reporting and dashboards. So the reason that we want to talk about this is, we're of course an agency, so we are responsible to a lot of our clients to report on the efforts that we're putting into their marketing and showing them the return on that investment. So as you can imagine, reporting is really important to what we do, but we also know that other folks here on this call using HubSpot in different capacities probably have somebody who wants to know how they're doing. Whether you are a sales rep reporting to a sales manager or a marketing team reporting to a CMO, or even just to your sales reps, showing them how you're building up a pipeline of leads for them, or reporting to a board of directors and you need to show that you're growing the business or a nonprofit organization. Everybody kind of has somebody who wants to get some insight into what they're doing and what kind of results they're yielding. So dashboards are a great way to just quickly see the metrics that you care about most, whether that's for your own improvement or to report to somebody else. So we're going to talk a little bit more just about what level of HubSpot you have and what's going to be available to you. So I'll start with Starter. In HubSpot Starter, you have 10 dashboards available to you with 10 reports per dashboard. So, you can build easily with Starter. You can still build different themed dashboards for sales, marketing, service, any of those things. So 10 dashboards, 10 reports per dashboard. At the professional level, you can have up to 25 dashboards with 30 reports per dashboard. and you can get up to 100 custom reports. It's also at the professional level where where the tracking code that you put into HubSpot is actually bringing in your website traffic analytics and is reporting on that as well. So maybe instead of having to go to Google Analytics and look on that platform, you can just view it all while you're logged into HubSpot in what is, in my opinion, a much simpler user interface than Google Analytics. And also, again, who wants to log into different tools all the time? So just kind of nice to be able to see your traffic analytics there too. And then enterprise just gets even sweeter, up to 50 dashboards with 30 reports per dashboard and up to 500 custom reports. I think just kind of looking at who's here, I think we have mostly starter and professional users. We usually have some folks from In Time Tech here in Meridian, and they're enterprise users. And so they, they're always, have a lot to offer in terms of just feedback. So if you are an enterprise user, know that there are other people in this community that are there as well, and you guys can be great resources to each other. All right. So next I want to talk about, what does it look like to customize a dashboard? So when we think about different roles in an organization, what are some of the things that are most important to them? So a marketing team may be most interested in analyzing content performance, understanding the web traffic, so that they can start to make decisions to try to improve both of those things. Sales teams, they're going to be interested in, how many contacts or how many visits to the website converted into leads and how many of those leads turned into sales. Support teams, if you're using HubSpot Service Hub, they can view, of course, their tickets, their volume, time to resolution, all that kind of stuff. So again, good reporting metrics for support teams to just show, exactly how quickly they're resolving customer issues and things like that. Operations, I'm actually going to show you a pretty cool dashboard that my team put together. This is just great, for someone who wants to forecast revenue, needs to understand, client count and recurring revenue versus new revenue. Operations can really get a lot out of having their own dashboard as well. So we'll be looking at some examples that fit pretty much all of those today. All right, so if you are just getting started in HubSpot and you don't know where to start, there are 14 pre-made dashboards available in HubSpot. So when you're logged into HubSpot and you go to create a dashboard, there are a few that you can scroll through. You can click on them. They'll tell you what reports are included after you create it. You can tweak it. Actually, you can even tweak it before you create it. It's going to pull up the names of all the reports. You can check or uncheck any boxes. But I always say just start with whatever they throw at you. They do it for a reason. They have a lot of users. They look at a lot of data and make decisions about, here's things that most other people are finding helpful. So they've got templates that might just work for like an individual sales rep that's going to be filtered to only show me like what my own deals are and what I'm working on, but also sales managers where they can see a little bit higher level view of their entire team and how the team is performing. Again, at the professional level and up, you're going to be able to see website analytics. So just very nice to, again, not have to log into Google Analytics. Marketing channel performance, better understanding where your traffic is coming from and, being able to work to improve that. Email and chat overviews. Again, those are going to probably be mostly, there are email marketing there's an email marketing dashboard and lots of reports you can create around those. But there's also like the kind that are meant more for like service so that you can see, what are the subject lines coming in through your support email? What are people chatting in about that they're having trouble with your product or service? So again, that can be a really good dashboard to just at a glance see what are the, bigger issues or known issues that you can work to resolve for your customer. And then of course, service ticket overview and performance, another quick look for managers of service and support teams to be able to see, how quickly their teams are resolving issues, how often do issues reoccur, that kind of thing. So there are, like I said, 14 different options. I'm sure by the time you log in next month, there'll be 16 or something. HubSpot's always adding to that, but a good place to start if you don't know where else to start. But hopefully after this today, you'll get some good ideas and have some stuff that you want to go try yourself. All right, I also wanted to make sure everyone knows, as we're kind of talking about, you can have all these different dashboards for all these different purposes. When you're logged into HubSpot as yourself, you can set your own default dashboard that only affects you. So you can set yours to whatever's most meaningful to you without changing what the rest of your company sees. So that's something that, just a lot of people don't even realize is an option. They're just always used to like going and finding the dashboards they want. Set whichever one is most important to you. And then of course you can always scroll through and find a different one, but nice to just kind of go and always at a glance see what you want to see when you log into HubSpot. All right, so first dashboard I'm just going to show you really quick is probably, I think, one of the most popular ones. I guess I just based that on the fact that this, again, sort of can take the place of Google Analytics, and most people want to have an understanding of what their website is doing. So this is our web analytics, dashboard, a little screenshot of that. It's really, it's pretty much out of the box what HubSpot offers in their template. But I think we modified a couple things here and there. But, things that we want to see on our dashboard are things like year-to-date traffic by source. So is a majority of our traffic coming from organic, direct, social media, et cetera. I'd always like to see year over year total traffic. I mean, I know the screenshot's kind of small, but you can see like there's just this little itty bitty bump. So this year we're performing consistently with the same trends as last year, but at a little bit higher volume. So I'll take it. We're a marketing agency and the cobbler's kids never have shoes. So that's us not always getting to pay as much of attention to our own stuff as we would like. We also have year-to-date most viewed pages. That's important to folks like Emery and Alicia, who are doing a lot with content and optimizing. So, anything that is already highly viewed is where you're going to make the most impact by making improvements. So, year-to-date most viewed pages is something that is, I think, always really important for a business to understand about their website. Most popular blog posts over the last 30 days. And this shows all blog traffic activity. So not just based on what you've published in the last 30 days, because when you publish a blog post, it really does take some time to actually start getting some traffic to it. So this is actually showing you what are your older blog posts that are still getting a lot of traffic. And that can be good to know for new content creation ideas. Again, knowing, what topics are popular or what's already getting a lot of traffic. So might be that kind of your low hanging fruit to good call to action or further optimize to just get that much more traffic to the page. We also look at last 30 days of traffic by day just to kind of see trends, and visits by device type, always wanting to see and know if most of our users are on desktop or mobile. And for us this year, it's mobile. So it's a good thing we have a wonderfully mobile responsive site. All right. This is a really, really cool dashboard. So as I mentioned, Katie is moving into our Director of Client Services role and is all about, client delight. And she actually has even more dashboards to that. But one thing that we do in our business is we are big fans of Traction EOS, for those of you who are familiar with that. So she actually created a dashboard for our team around that. It has our core values, our focus, our goals for the year, what our rocks are for the quarter, so that all of our employees at any time can log in and, just kind of see, have that reminder of sort of what we're all about, what we're doing, why we're doing it. So this is just a really cool dashboard because, the sky's the limit with dashboards. We're going to talk a lot today about how to create reports using your data in HubSpot, but that is not all that's available. You can just put in a text box, a video, anything you want, and pull whatever content you'd like to into that dashboard. So again, a lot of opportunities for communication among teams, that kind of thing. RevOps. So this is another one our director of operations wanted. So Katie worked on putting this together for her. This is just at a glance so that our director of operations can understand where our recurring revenue sits, what type it is, what the amounts are. She's also tracking one of her own rocks, which is to be have 70% of our clients upgraded to the latest version of Drupal by the end of this year. So I actually have it doesn't show in that screenshot. So I grabbed a screenshot of that because she is well on track to meet that goal. And so this is just something that, again, we were able to use HubSpot tools and the data that we're already keeping in HubSpot because it's how we run our business. For every company, we show what platform their website is on. So we were able to pull in this pie chart to be able to show what percentage of our clients were on what platform. So this is helping our operations person meet her goals. So again, just another kind of cool out of the box way to use it besides just reporting on, traffic and conversions and sales. That's all important. That's what we're going to spend most of this conversation on. But it's also just really exciting to know all of the cool things that, the more you use HubSpot as a business operations tool, the more data you can just pull in there and not have to go into a million different tools a day. So. Also, I wanted to bring this up. You can share your dashboard. So maybe you have somebody in the organization who, doesn't have a lot of use for HubSpot or isn't in their daily, like maybe your sales and marketing teams are, like maybe an operations person. You are able to share dashboards via email. So that will send them a PDF, like a downloadable PDF that just kind of comes in the form of a report that is a list of all of those different reports that you have in your dashboard. So it'll come in the body of the email, but it'll also be a downloadable PDF. So that's really a good way to, just like I said, share it with somebody. They do have to be HubSpot users. This is something I actually was just looking into because HubSpot just recently released kind of an announcement that with email privacy laws and things like that, they're no longer going to be able to send email notifications to non-HubSpot users. So I was curious about whether or not you were able to email dashboards to non-HubSpot users, and you cannot. So they have to be a user in HubSpot, which just means they have to at some point, accept the invitation to set up the account, but they don't have to go into it to view the dashboard if you're sending it to them. And you can set that to, send once a month or once a week. So if you have somebody in the organization who just wants to kind of keep an eye on things, but doesn't necessarily spend all their time in HubSpot, this is a good way to communicate that. They also just out a Slack share option, which I tried out today. Pretty simple. It just sends a Slack with a list of reports that are in that dashboard. And then the recipient or whoever's in the channel that you share it to on Slack can just click on individual reports and go look at whatever they want. So just some fun stuff. All right, so now we are going to talk about, we talked about, okay, we can make all these dashboards. They can have all of these reports in them, but how do we build the reports? So there's a lot of ways that, a lot of different places you can kind of start from. So I'm going to go through and talk about all of these options, but then we're actually going to jump out of my slide deck here and into HubSpot, and we're going to build a dashboard just so you guys can kind of see all the different ways. I always say there's a million different ways to get to the same end result in HubSpot. It's no different with reporting. So we're just going to talk about a few different avenues. So if you're just getting started, I think using analytics tools to start your reporting that you're going to pull into your dashboard is probably the easiest. And you can do this both from, let's say you're in your email tool in HubSpot. You can, click to analyze your email data, and then you can actually just pull that into, you can create a report from that and put it in a dashboard. So even if you're just in your email or in your landing pages and you're checking out performance and you're like, hey, it would be really nice to see this on a daily basis, or every time I want to just have this information at my fingertips every time I log into HubSpot, well, you can save it as a report and put it in your dashboard. But if you want kind of a more you want to go straight to the source, I guess, and just see all your different options. Under reports, there's analytics tools in your main HubSpot menu, and that's where you can go to, you'll see all the different types of reports that are available in analytics tools, and you can start there. Again, very user-friendly. You just can click on things, see what they do, and again, we're gonna do that in real time here in just a moment. But really simple for kind of the beginner. Also, another good step for a beginner, maybe kind of intermediate, is using report templates. So again, in your main HubSpot menu, reports, the main reporting tool is in there. And when you first get to it, there at the top, there's going to be your option to make a custom report. But then down below, there are a ton of pre-built reports of those most popular metrics. So you can start with whatever's there. You can still tweak and customize what date range you want to show. You can edit the way the data is displayed, and then you can pull that into your dashboard. You can also just start from scratch. This is, I definitely think, is more of a power user move, because really the sky's the limit. You can do anything. So you really have to understand objects and all of the different data that's in HubSpot before this really becomes something that doesn't feel overwhelming and scary. I mean, I even get a little taken aback every time I get in there, because there's just really anything is possible. So that's another great, again, that's under your reporting tool, and that's where you start from scratch. There are a couple of you can do single object reports. You can report on funnels, which we will talk a little bit more about later on, attribution reports, and then, like I said, a completely custom where you just start saying, I want this object, and I want this property, and this, activity, and this time frame. I mean, anything is possible. If I haven't said that enough. All right, so let's make a dashboard. I am going to forget what these, I made a note of it somewhere, but now I realize I can't get to my notes app while I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to do my best to retrace my steps. I'm actually going to write these down. Blog by month, contact by source, form, month, closed deal, and deals this year. And I'm gonna take you on a couple different paths, which is why I'm because I know the second I start going into the tool and sharing my screen, I'm gonna have that anxiety about everybody watching me, and I'm gonna forget what I'm doing. So let's see. And then we're gonna go from blog analytics. That one's a tools and templates. Okay. I think I can do this. Someone from my team just reroute me if you see me doing something crazy. All right, actually, maybe I can open my notes. All right, I've got it. So we're going to build a dashboard together. We're going to start in Tribute Media's portal. Right now, you can see this is our web analytics dashboard. I kind of shared a screenshot of that with you before, but you can just kind of start to see, here it is. Here's our website traffic and bounce rate and sessions and all of that stuff. You can see our most popular pages by view, blog post performance, all that kind of stuff I talked about. This is what that's looking like in that traffic report for us. But we're going to build a brand new dashboard today. So let's go with the first scenario I described. And we are just going to go into marketing, and we're just going to pretend we're looking at our blog. I work in marketing. I'm looking at, I want to report on what topics are performing well for us or what our most popular blog is. So I'm going to come to blog, and I am going to go to view blog analytics. And we said we wanted to know by month. So I'm just going to, especially since we're at the end of the month, I'm going to do this month. And let's take a look and let's sort by views. So here is what our, most popular blog posts are by views this month. So now I want to save this to a dashboard. So up here, I'm going to save report. And I want that table down below that actually, I don't really care so much about these bumps. I want to know the actual views, bounce rate, all of that. So I'm going to pull this and I'm going to save the table. And HubSpot's going to ask me, what do you want to call it? And I am always a big fan of being super literal, even if your titles are really long. You are never going to be mad when you're trying to search for something that you used all the words possible. So I'm going to say blog posts by views. Oops. This. And we are going to, we have to actually, so we haven't made this dashboard yet. So since we're starting a brand new one, I'm going to add to a new dashboard. And we get to name it. And this is also where we can decide, is this just for me? Is this for everyone? Do I want anyone to be able to edit it or just to see it? I'm just going to make this for everyone, can view and edit and all of that. So let's save and add it. So now, if we just go back to my main HubSpot page, I have web analytics as my default, if you can't tell. I can see our new Hug dashboard here, and it's got one thing in it so far, and it's this blog post by view. But I can also tell I'm not seeing everything I want to see there. So let's go ahead and take that wide. All right, so now we have our first report in here. The next thing we wanted to do was see our contacts by source this month. So this time I'm going to go to reports and analytics tools. And I am going to go to contact analytics. And I want to know by source this month. So that is actually what it defaults to. How nice is that? So let's save that report as well. And this time I'm going to save the table or the chart. I mean, that's nice and pretty. And we're going to add to an existing dashboard. Oops, got to name it. Contacts by source this month. There it is. Me knowing you're watching me type. All right. And then we're going to add to our existing dashboard Hug, save and add. Let's just keep going. We'll go back and visit our dashboard again in just a moment. Next, we want to see form submissions this month. So let's go back to our analytics tools, reports, analytics tools. And you'll see there's actually a forms option. So let's click on that. And I want to see, I really, sorry guys, obviously I, wanted to make sure I was like prepared. So I was like dinking around in here earlier. So now I'm not like making it very challenging. It's all just defaulting to what I'm talking about. But let's even switch it up. Let's just say we want to know this quarter. We'll change it up. So now it changes everything. We can look at it the frequency of weekly, daily, monthly. Let's look at it monthly. Look at that boring chart. Let's do something cooler than that. That was really, yeah, there we go. That's a little more exciting to look at, right? But yeah, so now you can see your contacts by source. So it's really down here. Let's see, or I'm sorry, we're on form submission. Form submissions this month, we can see, what the most common form was, how many views it got, how many submissions there were, and what that conversion rate was. So actually, I think that's probably the most compelling down here. So I am going to save this table as well. This is form submissions this quarter. Oops. All right, and then the next report that we wanted to make is to, we're going to start with a report template this time, and we're going to look at closed deal revenue by source this year. So here I'm going to go to reports, and then reports again. And you can also see, this is your reports homepage. We haven't been here yet. You can see the stuff that I've just built. It's saved reports library. So this is just another way, if you don't want to go dashboard by dashboard, this is a quick way to look at all the reports you've created that live in any dashboard everywhere, or maybe don't even live in a dashboard, but that you've created. And you can also search them. So again, that's why I say in your naming conventions, be totally clear, because, you're not going to be mad at yourself when you're like, what did I name that? And you put all the words in there. So we are going to look at our templates, and we're going to go to, closed deal revenue source by source this year. Okay, so we're going to go create report up here. And as I mentioned, up here at the top, this is where you can build from scratch, but we're going to just scroll down and see what's already available to us. And so close deal by revenue. I don't know where we're going to find this. Like I said, there are 236 templates in here. So what I'm going to do is just search for like closed deal, average time to close deal revenue amount by source over time. Okay, so this is a good one to start with. There may even, nope, that's the only one I said. There may even be something else, but this is going to be close enough and we can modify this. So I'm going to select this report. It's going to pull me into the ability to filter and edit this. So I want the original source type. We want everything. So we're just not gonna check anything because we want to show everything. And then instead of a rolling date range, we said we wanted to see for the whole year. So we're gonna say this year. Frequency monthly, I like that. We don't need to show the entire year. I don't really know why anybody wants to do this. This is like opens it up so that you just see it like fall off because you're not there yet. Super weird. I don't get it. So let's just look at to date. That's all we really care about. Nobody knows the future. And then, yeah, I think this is a good report to add. So we are going to save this guy. And then it actually names it based on what this is, closed deal revenue amount by source over time, but we edited it, right? So we're going to say this year and add that to our dashboard. All right, so we've just added a few. Oh, we were going to do one from scratch as well. So let's go ahead and do that. I will say this has been giving me trouble lately. This is a little bit finicky and annoying from HubSpot that you cannot escape this for some reason. I'm probably going to have to start over. Yeah. That is not the first time that has happened to me today. All right, so we're getting a little peek at our dashboard here. Let's go ahead and look at it. So, we pulled this first table long so we could see all the data. That's great. And then this report looks really good in this block. This doesn't show quite everything we want. Maybe let's pull this one down. Let's pull this one up because that fits nicely in that block. And then we can take this one a little bit wider so that we can see everything. So you can see very customizable here. You can even like get more, maybe you can make it really skinny if it doesn't have very much in it and you don't need to see it all. You can do whatever you want there. So you can fit as much in your screen window as possible. Okay, so we have one more report I wanted to show you to build from scratch in case anyone wants to get real crazy. So we're gonna go to reports again. And this one, we wanted to look at deals this year. So I am going to create report. And again, this is a little, like I said, a little advanced. I'm going to tell you that I know this is in funnels, but that's just because I know that. And I've been working in HubSpot for a really long time. You'll, as you get to learn these tools more, you'll just have to kind of poke around and figure out, exactly what you want. But if we go to funnels, I know I'm going to be able to find what I want. So I want to look at deals. And I want to see it like a funnel. That seems cool. And I want to see my website project pipeline. And so I am going to show deals that have gone through all stages. This is, I actually have some hot tips for you on this here in just a moment. But for right now, I'm just going to tell you, I know that this is what I want and need. If I go any stage, it's not going to show me a progression. But I want to show you why this kind of sucks. You're gonna see it doesn't really update in real time. HubSpot can be kind of slow on their caching, so sometimes we have to refresh. We're gonna be trapped again, you guys. Oh no, okay, we got back here. So let's go to our Hug dashboard and see this new report we added. This is showing, okay, so this is this month so far, but remember, I actually said I wanted to see deals this year, so I forgot what I was doing when I was in there. So we are going to change it to this year. And you're gonna see this tells a really weird story. This is not actually what our deals this year look like, and I'm gonna talk a little bit more about that. So actually for right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna swap this out. I don't really wanna look at this. This isn't as meaningful to me. So let me do something else here. Let me go out and let me actually go back to reports. We'll try building a different one from scratch. This time I am gonna look at any stage of our deal pipeline. Still like the funnel, and I'm going to say that I've gone through any stage, and I'm going to save, and I'm going to add to the dashboard. And then I'm going to go back to the dashboard. And make another quick edit, because this is this month so far. And we want to see for the year. Okay, so this is a lot more representative of what our deal volume looks like here at Tribute Media for website projects. So I'm going to update the existing report. I'll just leave them both, but this is, you can see this has all of our deal stages here, and you can see it has it here too, but our conversion rate looks real wonky, and that is going to be our next topic of conversation. This is the sort of learn from me because we did it wrong, and once we figured out we did it wrong, it just felt too messy to clean up. So I am going to share a little bit more with you about that, but there in a nutshell is creating dashboards in HubSpot. So hopefully you guys got some good ideas, already are thinking about some reports that you want to pull into a dashboard, but it really is that easy. All right, so I'm going to leave this and go back to our slideshow. So we did it, yay. Okay, so our hot tip about reporting on sales funnels. This is one of the most common things people want to see in HubSpot. They want to know, okay, of all the stuff I'm doing in marketing, how much of it is leading to sales? And when I get a lead that's qualified for sales and we open a deal and we start putting them through the sales process, how often am I successful, or how often is my team successful? Of course we want to know that, right? So what you see in this report here, this is a different format to what we just did, but this is deals won and lost over time. This is representative of our, it's comparing our total deals won to our total deals that were won or lost. What it doesn't account for are current deals that are in the pipeline that have not been won or lost yet. And so it's not quite the whole picture, but this is just at this point, the best way for us here at Tribute Media to report on sales conversion rates, because, I can see that of, all of my deals this year that have either been closed or lost, I'm at a 72% close rate. Now I still have other active deals either way. So, actually this is, I guess I can't see the total on here. But in any case, the total number is not representative of the total deals that I have open. So it's not perfect, but it's at least something, right? That kind of gives us some indication as like, what is our close rate? So that we can start working backwards to understand, okay, if I'm closing at 72%, how many leads do I need to get that many deals started that we can close 72% of? And it's hard when you can't report on where people fall off in the sales cycle. So if you want to understand your conversion rate through your entire sales funnel, while you are creating your sales process, your sales funnel in HubSpot, this is what you need to know. In the world of HubSpot, you have to use all the stages that you put into a deal pipeline. That means your stages all have to be sequential, like start to finish. When you go to edit your deal pipeline, you can assign percentage likelihood to close. So you want that to look like, maybe you only have 3 stages. So it's or 4 stages, let's say for easy math, 25%, 50%, 75%, and then 1 is 100%. But maybe you have 10 stages. So each stage should represent moving forward, 10%, 20%, 30%, and so on. What doesn't work is having a like holding area. So our biggest problem here at Tribute Media is a long time ago when we were getting started and didn't quite know what we were doing yet, we made this status here called stalled. And it was just something in the middle of our pipeline. So it was like 10% to close, 20% to close, 30% to close, so on. And then all of a sudden there was this stalled thing in the middle that was 10% likelihood to close. Then it went back into like verbal approval, contract sent, and then all of those things that move a sale forward. Well, this is what broke, partially what broke our pipeline, so that when you see this, we don't have data. It's not giving us the data we need. It's just showing all deals created, and some of them move to pre-qualified, but then you can see everything falls off. Well, like I said, our holding area, our stalled status is part of the reason for that. But the other thing that I commonly see with folks is they try to work with one sales pipeline when there are multiple, there really need to be multiple sales pipelines. Because if your sales process is such that there's like a fork in the road where maybe you get to a certain point and they either go this way or they go that way, but if it's step 1, 2, 3, but then 4 could be could be step A or it could be step B, those are going to have the same likelihood to close. It's never going to be both of those things. And so that starts to get really messy. The way HubSpot reports, it has to touch every stage in the deal. It cannot skip. So that's the other reason that our pipeline is broken. It's because I get a little excited sometimes and I create my deal. And if I create it as pre-qualified, but I skip right over to like, oh yeah, in my qualification meeting, I totally got a verbal approval and I just drag it all the way down to verbal approval, I've broken the pipeline. So even if it means just, have a little fun with it. You played with your deal table. Like it's really fun to drag those little deal squares throughout the process. So do that, because that's going to prevent you from breaking your pipeline, and you will have much clearer, better data on how your sales process is going. You'll be able to see how many people fall off at the qualification meeting versus the presentation meeting, versus I get a verbal approval, but it never closes. For me, I'm having a really hard time giving up my stalled, because to me, like I'm not gonna lose. That's my way of holding on to things, when really I have this closed. So we have 2 closed statuses here at Tribute Media, that's already meant to be that differentiating factor. It could be closed because we lost it to a competitor, which is closed lost, but closed canceled just means it kind of fizzled out, like they didn't move forward with anything. So really, in all likelihood, anything I move into stalled is eventually moving to closed canceled. Like if we're being honest, if I really looked at the data, I don't have that many people who fizzled out that come back super soon. But maybe it's a list I can create to do some outreach for a year from now or something like that. In any case, I'm just sharing with you like what I know to be true for me, which is that, sometimes you want to have this like holding area, this like, well, it's not really moving forward, but I'm not giving up. Just move it into your closed canceled. That deal is always going to be visible to you in HubSpot. You can use that status to, like I said, make a list of outreach of, old leads that, were closed, canceled, that you want to rekindle or, try to re-engage through a sales sequence. You can do all of that stuff. Just, you have to maybe not have as much of an ego as I do and not want to move it into that closed canceled. So anyways, learn from my mistakes, please, and get good data. And you'll be happier for it. I can see that we have some comments rolling in and probably making fun of me, and that's totally fine. Yes, Callie, the holding, come on, who wants to give up? Okay, so they want to see a stage in a pipeline instead of a property. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'd be interested to hear more about that in the Q&A, because I do think I know what you're referring to, and I've seen that come up too. So yeah, I definitely want to hear about that. Okay, I've got just a couple more things that I want to just, oh no, I don't. That was it. Sorry. The end. So thank you very much. I hope you guys learned something from that. We've got a little time for Q&A, either on this topic or just general HubSpot questions. So I don't know, let me bring back our, just so if anyone wants to show their face, I can see you. Kelly, would you mind, are you able to hop on? I'd love to hear you describe this issue a little bit more, because I think a lot of people could learn from it.
Yeah, give me 1 second. My monitor's been tweaking today, so I need to re-plug it in.
Sure.
All right, let's see if it worked now. I had to have IT on. I think I'm at 3 times this week. So we'll see. Oh, no. Maybe now. There we go.
There you are.
Good to see you.
You too.
Sorry, I missed most of the first of the call. I was on a different call. But I got on the end. And so, yeah, what we have seen a lot of, and it's specifically at like the front end of our funnel. So like we have qualification calls and then we have demos. And so if we have a prospect that has missed a qualification call or missed a demo, we call them drop stages, because we use an SDR pipeline and an AE pipeline so that there's transparency into conversion for the different teams. So when we have a qualification call that goes demo scheduled, it drops into a stage in the SDR pipeline and then appears in the AE pipeline. And then if the demo's missed, it moves into missed demo, which disappears from the AE pipeline and reappears in the SDR pipeline. So like from the functionality, works great. From the reporting, disgusting. So it's like pick your battle in that instance. Yeah. That's
okay. That is a little bit different than what I thought, but that is such a good point. And I do think that's kind of that fork in the road thing that sometimes happens. You guys are actually moving it to a different pipeline, which again, like breaks off the reporting. But yeah, I mean, like, what's the other solution to that? Like, I think you found it. You do move it into a different pipeline, but it is going to, break the, give and take. Like you said, from the functionality wise, it's like, well, that's what makes sense. It's going to the appropriate team. It's getting nurtured in the right way, but we're doing that at the sacrifice of like having that data. So,
the other thing that we use like stage instead of property, which is probably more so what you mean. So we do demos because we're a SaaS company. And so we offer 2 different demo types, and there are 2 stages, one for each demo type, rather than a demo stage and there's a property for which type of demo. Because clearly a deal in both demo types. So that is also why we can't use funnel reporting either.
Gotcha. Yeah, that is tough.
Yeah. Reporting fun. That was the call that was on before this was reporting.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess there's other ways to get to the information and get to the statistics and stuff, but it would be nice if it would just if everything just fell right into that perfect process and everybody just moved through our sales funnels just perfectly the way we want them to.
Right.
That's
I don't know if you guys touched on it either, but one of our big things that we're trying to work through is attribution reporting. So what's first touch attribution and what's conversion attribution, and how are those being captured in our attribution model? So that's our other fun reporting.
Chaos.
Yeah.
Yes. Relatable. Well, thanks for sharing. That's sometimes I blame us, in our, just, I guess, like I said, when we started, we didn't really have anybody to help us along. We were one of the first, we were the first HubSpot partner agency in the area. So there wasn't another HubSpot partner who we could have onboard us. We just kind of had to work with our HubSpot person. And we just didn't know what we didn't know. And to top it off, that was like 7, 8 years ago. So it was like, there's,
Right.
A lot has changed too. So we've just been kind of learning as we go and kind of just been like a wrecking ball in there. But sometimes it's good to know that sometimes there just really is no perfect solution, even
Right.
when you're doing it right from the beginning. So
Right. Well, and I think there's just so many different avenues where, sure, if you were to start over, you could do a lot of things differently and better, but you're never going to answer every question perfectly for how it should be done for your specific use case.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Did anybody else have any questions? I don't think I don't see anything in the Q&A, but anyone want to share an experience or a question either related to reporting and dashboards or just anything HubSpot related?
I would be interested, because this is what we're evaluating right now, if other teams allow all HubSpot users to report and build dashboards, or if that's owned by anyone specifically. We're trying to decide that, if we want to restrict permissions and create a better source of truth, per se.
Are you professional or enterprise?
Enterprise.
Okay.
Enterprise, except for Ops Enterprise, so we don't have data sets.
Got it. I mean, my opinion is like you got an awful lot of reporting abilities in enterprise, and it might not be like a limits thing. Are you thinking of just having like certain groups or teams or whatever, just being able, like, maybe they can build their own like personally viewed reports or?
Right. That's kind of what I'm leaning towards. We moved to a RevOps model, and so we're trying to just clean up what people look at, because honestly, there's so much data that people sometimes don't know what the right data is to look at to answer the question they're hoping to answer. But without forcing my team to do all reporting, trying to find that middle ground of the best foot forward.
Yeah, and I guess, I can see where the question might lie in, like, if I create my own reporting dashboard that paints a certain picture with certain properties and activities and whatever, and it doesn't line up with the reality of the revenue that is, I might think I'm on track, but not be on track.
Exactly.
So you kind of want to like top down say, no, this is how you can tell if you're on track.
Exactly.
I can totally see that.
Yes. So just something that we're evaluating.
Another stumper. Thank you for that. Oh, goodness. Well, any other questions from anybody else? Well, if not, let me go ahead, and I have one more slide here that I just want to share with you. This is, I kind of touched on this at the beginning, but for those of you who weren't here at the very start, here's kind of the rest of what 2022 is going to look like for all things really HubSpot related. We are basically in July now. I don't know how. We are going, most of my team, actually everyone that you heard from today on the call, we are all going to Boston for Inbound in person. Very, very excited about that. So we're taking that week in September for our continuing education. And we hope that when we come back, maybe towards the end of September or the beginning of October, technically we've got to get it in September if we want to call it a Q3 hug, but we want to come back and report to you what we learned. I mean, hopefully some of you are able to at least attend virtually, and we can all just kind of share our experiences, what we learned at what we learned at Inbound. But that's kind of our idea, is to have a post Inbound recap hug event. And yes, that will be in person, hopefully hybrid. Stay tuned on how that's going to work, because I want to make sure that we do it well. But yeah, we're going to plan to host you guys probably here at the Tribute Media office. TBD on that. I barely know how it's July. I certainly can't think about September, but that will be our Q3 hug. And then we will do a final hug of 2022, probably at the beginning of December, because we take the last 2 weeks of the year off. We hope that you have some time to enjoy the holidays as well. But we're going to try to do an early December hug just to sort of kick off 2023. I can't believe I'm saying those words. And, talk about what our goals are around HubSpot, just around business, and how HubSpot can help us get us there. And sort of just plan, what does everybody want to hear about in hugs in 2023? And, what are you liking about the format? What aren't you liking? It's been a while, and we've got a lot of new members of this community. So we may start surveying you guys again just to find out what's your ideal day, what's your ideal length, what's format, topics, all of that stuff, because this community is here for you. So yeah, we just want to make sure that we're getting good speakers on topics that you want to know about. So yeah, that's kind of what the rest of the year looks like from a hug perspective. And I think that really is all that I have. If anybody does want to chime in with some other, we heard from in the beginning, we heard from some of you about what your, sort of things you wanted to understand better in HubSpot. So that is giving me some good speaker ideas. But anything else that hasn't come up or that I've created questions for you today and you're like, hey, I'd like to learn more about this. Paul, yeah, what's up?
Yeah. Well, as you know, we're just getting started with HubSpot onboarding. You're helping us through that, even though we've been subscribers underutilizing the service for a bit. But actually, the whole concept of security, and I don't mean security from outside intruders. I mean more a matter of privacy within a team. HubSpot's great in terms of providing visibility, but it also captures a lot of correspondence and other things, not all of which may be appropriate for the owner of that information to have inadvertently, put in the public domain, so to speak.
Yep.
And so something around those sorts of best practices. I think I can't be the only person, I don't think, that has this kind of issue or concern.
No. And, Paul, as you know, like I lightly call it doing the bad thing, which is, accidentally connecting inboxes. That's not the only thing that goes wrong. And for those of you who don't know, in helping them onboard, I realized HubSpot did finally put like a warning there when you go to connect a full inbox. And it's like, is this your personal email? Is this, because so many people did that inadvertently. And sort of when you do something like that inadvertently, you're panicked, right? So like, what is the fastest way to clean up that mess, check everything, make sure that it's all gone, all that kind of stuff? You're absolutely right. I've worked with folks a bunch of times who've done that. But I also just think, ultimately what you're talking about, Paul, is just a really like designing a way to use the users and teams feature and the granular settings within HubSpot in a more meaningful way. Again, when we started with HubSpot, there was like two kinds of users. Like, you were a super admin or you were like everything but the ability to add other users and nothing in between. And there were no teams and, assign notifications by team or anything. It has come so far, and I am the first to admit even Tribute Media is underutilizing what it's capable of, and that's a big part of that sort of internal security with HubSpot Portal. So I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and then if I could just add to that, it's in the same really exciting domain of of that. But our company is not skilled in what is it, GPDR? So is that the right acronym? Yeah, you know what I mean.
No, but now that you said it, I can't think of the right one. GDPR. Is that what you said? Okay.
GDPR. Global.
Okay. It sounds about as exciting as watching paint dry, but nonetheless, I think there's, if not formal rules or even regulatory things. Put simply, I don't want our company or any of us to get in trouble because we just didn't know what we were doing with bad behavior. And so a topic on that, because we're just getting started, that would be helpful too.
Yes, a good topic. you know, and we did do a little something on that, but it was when it first rolled out. So I guarantee you aspects of it have changed since we visited that. So I think a good refresher on that. Plus, you know, we were learning, Alicia, our SEO specialist, was sharing with us, you know, already some additional limitations or additional regulations in certain European countries that are getting even tighter and more private, that's going to affect all kinds of stuff. So yes, I think that is also another really good topic.
Yeah, at least HubSpot tries to help with that, and because it's part of what they do, that'd be I think a good topic for a session.
Yeah, I think they have a whole team on that because they are a global company. So I'm sure we could get a speaker who I would trust to educate you guys on that much more than I would trust myself.
Yeah.
I would recommend Paul too. I'm sure, I would assume you guys have probably done this if you're working with Lindsay, but for the email tracking, just make sure that your company email domain is on the never log, because that's what we've run into, right? Like people emailing like HR or payroll. That way, so if you put your company email domain on your never log, that's only going to block your intercompany emails, not necessarily you and your customers, but at least your internal communications wouldn't log.
Yeah, that's even if though, Callie, even if one of my colleagues here at work is on an email with a customer, that it's a distribution list mixing customers and internal people, even in that case, I mean, will it not log? Or
that would log, because that's that would log because it's a cross contact.
I see. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
All these fun little nuances to have to master.
Yeah. And there's Matt Tanner. I didn't realize that before, but I sure hope there's no intellectual property and patent material on the board behind you.
It's probably all something to worry about. I wanted to throw something in. I got connected, Lindsay, with something Paul said. Because we're on the newer end of the spectrum with HubSpot, you'd mentioned earlier that you can share dashboards like through email. So taking that as a use case, I'm still pretty unfamiliar with the types of users, and do I have enough licenses, or do I need licenses to put everybody in the company on HubSpot so they can get an email? Or does that burn seats from a license that I really don't want to? Or what kind of users are there? What kind of visibility do they have, capabilities? I need a big matrix in front of me so I can understand it all.
Well, that would be huge. But the short answer is, like, I'd have to look. If there's a limit of actual users you can have in HubSpot, it's ridiculously high. Like, I've seen hundreds in there. So you can have as many users that have visibility into HubSpot. There's just certain tools that require a seat. So like the easiest example is email templates. In order to have more than 5 email templates, you have to have either a sales seat or a service seat. And otherwise, everybody has access to 5. So anyone, for example, in Tribute Media, we have a very legacy product, and we just have 1 sales seat. So everyone can go in and do stuff in HubSpot, but they can't see or edit or use any of my email templates that were created after the first 5, which, by the way, I think I told you, and for those of you who don't know, my little hack for that, if you do it soon enough before you start creating a bunch of templates, just create 5 templates that are like holding for team use, and then have your sales seat people go and start creating their actual templates, because then what you're able to do is go back, and when you say, okay, everybody needs access to like a boilerplate, you know, this is who we are and what we do kind of email, then you can go and actually edit that template later and everybody has access to it. So don't tell HubSpot my super secret workaround there, but yeah, anybody can go in and see contacts, again, all subject to the settings that you choose, but those don't cost you, they don't use up seats, they don't cost you any extra or anything like that.
Okay, that helps out.
Yeah.
I will say, Matt, that I have seen a lot of traction on the ideas forum of allowing non-user emails in the reports and dashboard sharing as well. Because I think a lot of
Yeah.
people see issues. Like for big agencies, they don't want people in HubSpot, but they want to share reports. And right now you can only
Right.
select users rather than in the marketing email, you can type in like a alias account.
Right. Right.
Yeah. And
Okay.
that's only getting stricter, unfortunately. It was such a bummer. We just came up with like what I thought was a wonderfully creative solution for an organization who didn't want to have everybody in there as users just because they knew they wouldn't use it. And what's the point? And it's just one more password to remember, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, don't worry, we'll just send the notification to them anyway. And now we've got to go back and make them all users. And so it's like, always a moving target.
So Lindsay, maybe one more idea. It just occurred to me that might be interesting topic going forward is just what we did here. I didn't even know that there was a video conferencing option inside HubSpot, but now,
kind of.
yeah, okay. Maybe it's not recommended, but they built it. And one of the points of this whole HubSpot experience is to minimize the having to capture extraneous information, contact information. So there's probably, or maybe not, some advantage to using HubSpot video conferencing relative to Zoom or Teams or other things that are maybe more common. Or maybe the whole thing just sucks and I'm not sure why you picked to use it today, but I don't know. So
that's actually probably just a fairly quick answer, which is like Zoom is probably going to be your best bet because they, I think, have the best integration with HubSpot to like anyone who, like if you're doing a webinar through Zoom and someone registers through that can talk to your HubSpot CRM and drop those contacts in there. That's what's actually so ironic about this platform of Bevy. And like all of us HubSpot users are like, why are you making us use this tool? Because it is absolutely disconnected from HubSpot. We don't have like, the reason I sent you guys all the link to register is because like when someone registers for these events, they're not in my HubSpot portal. So it's a whole thing. This platform, like I said, they're getting better. If you can hear me, Bevy, I'm sorry for talking so much smack, but it's just a platform HubSpot had chosen during the pandemic because Zoom wasn't cutting it for like the big, large scale events like Inbound that they had to host virtually. So, I mean, this platform, Bevy, this is the kind of thing that you've probably seen in the last 2 years where like there's virtual stages and you have your little avatar and we're not using it to that level, but that's what this platform is capable of. And it is a separate tool outside of HubSpot that really they haven't even built anything like to integrate it very well. So, I wouldn't recommend this one. I think for the type of thing you would be doing, I would say stick with Zoom, link up, we'll make sure you have an integration point between, I know you had an email issue there, but we'll make sure we get it integrated the correct way so that anytime you do put on something through Zoom and somebody registers that they'll also be HubSpot contacts as well.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we have just a few minutes left. Does anyone have any other questions or ideas for future hugs? Okay. Well, Callie, it looks like you're going to Inbound as well. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes. We will definitely make a plan to meet up. That will be really fun. Actually, we joked about it because we, for years, had been, kind of in touch with the folks over at Power Engineers. They're big HubSpot users. They usually have a few people attend these. They've been on the timing issue where we always end up hosting it at the wrong time. But we joked. I mean, 2 years we had probably been in email communication, chatting about HubSpot, doing hugs together. We had to go to Boston and we like ran into them. I was like, oh, hi, nice to see you.
I haven't been, so I'm super excited. It'll be a good time. Yeah, it'll be good. And I will make a plug on behalf of Grant. If you guys aren't in the HubSpot Super Admin Discord, it's very helpful. And I would be happy to share it with Lindsay if she wants to blast it out.
Yes.
It's really helpful for like in-time questions. Like I keep it open all day. I'm checking in. There's like different channels for different use cases and different questions. Grant's all great too, but it's been a really helpful resource since he started it a couple months ago.
That would be amazing. Yeah, if you could share that, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll send it over right now.
Perfect. Then I can be like one of the cool kids using Discord.
I'll tell you, it was overwhelming to me. I was like, what is Discord? Can we move it to Slack? Like, I don't.
I know. You're like, sorry, am I 100? Can we Slack?
But once you're in there, it makes sense.
Cool. Well, I'm excited. Yeah, that sounds great. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody who came, checked it out, contributed. Thank you so much. This was really good discussion here. Love hearing from everybody. Let's see, one more. Oh, yeah. How many of you are using LinkedIn contacts imported into HubSpot? I know we're not. I'm going to say I bet Natural Intelligence isn't because they're just getting started. And no, Callie, you guys are not either. No.
Not at this time. We've talked about it, but also the cost of like the seats that we need on LinkedIn is just too expensive.
Yeah. I hear ya. Awesome. Well, again, thank you all for joining us today. Hope it was helpful. We should have a recording out of this of some quality, and we will get something out post hug either tomorrow or first thing next week. So you guys can kind of reference those slides, share this with anyone on your team who couldn't make it. But yeah, we will keep you all posted on a post inbound hug, and yeah, look forward to seeing it. And if you're not already in the LinkedIn group, you can definitely join our LinkedIn group. It's Boise Hug or Hug Boise, something like that. You'll find it. And that's just, I try to remember to drop a notification in there when we're doing these in case you don't get the email. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much. Have a great afternoon and happy HubSpotting. Bye.